Hello, welcome to 10 Minutes Astrology. I'm Rod Chang.
I am Alejo Lopez. Welcome, everyone.
Alejo, I like your new glasses. They look so cute.
Thank you. Yes.
I really see you wear the glasses. Is this for reading or something?
It's only they block the blue light from the computer.
Oh my God, so
It's because I'm
professional.
doing a dissertation, so I'm all the time in front of the screen. So
Well,
basically,
yeah, I agree. You have to look after your eye, and I think that is very important because yes, when you're working on all this kind of research work, a lot of paper to reading, and nowadays mostly on the computer, so you definitely
yes.
need some help. Yeah. So Alejo, since last couple weeks we are talking about the lunation type of personality.
Yes.
And it is very interesting because just because the distance between the sun and the moon and it make it so different. And I agree with you because with that kind of lunation type of personality, it build up the foundation of the chart.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
So
so.
to yeah.
Because
So today, yeah. Sorry.
I mean, it's so important the relationship between the sun and the moon because they are so important. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So today we are going to because for last 4 weeks we talk about the new moon, crescent moon, and the first quarter moon and the gibbous moon. So these four, the first 180 degree in the lunation, and so it's usually people call the waxing moon. And usually waxing moon type person are more focused on study, learning, absorbing, right?
Yes.
Is there anything else is a characteristic of the waxing moon?
Well, it's a process of growing. I also think there is a sense of innocence, perhaps, or naivety. We're going to see when we get to
Mm.
we saw the first quarter, which is when there's the square. We're going to
Yeah.
see it in a few sessions when we get to the last quarter. The aspect is
Ah.
the same. Now we're going to start, today we're going to do the full moon, which is the opposition, but the aspects from the next session, it's going to be the same aspects that we saw before, but
Yeah.
the quality changes because the moon now has experienced. She has reached, let's say,
Mm.
half of the cycle. It's like a person in their 40s or 50s. So it's like now they have life experience. They know themselves a little bit more, and they know the world also a little bit more. So the same ideas are going to be repeated, but in a different way
Mm.
because there's a sense of wisdom. So I would
Yeah.
also say that the waxing phase is a phase of learning, like
Yeah.
there is some kind of innocence or naivety or yeah.
Mm-hmm. So from today, from this week, we have another four type of lunation type, but they are all belong to waning type, and so that the moon getting smaller, smaller. Sometimes it's quite interesting. I still remember when I first learned that some people just say, "Oh, the moon is getting bigger, is better," and the moon is getting waning. It's just like smaller, smaller is at least the bad luck. I said, "Oh, it's not everything about the good luck or bad luck."
Yeah, but it's interesting what you say because like for some people who do magic and they want to follow
Oh,
the moon, they
yeah,
usually say that if you do things with the waxing moon, you do
yeah,
things that you want to increase. And with the
yes.
waning moon, you would do things that you want to be reduced, right?
Yeah, I think that is the basic astrology election 101 too. Yes. So
Yes,
today we go to learn about full moon type.
full
This
moon,
is
yes.
beginning, I think, from the sun moon right opposition 180 degree exact until the next 45 degree. Am I right?
Exactly. So it's 180 degrees to 135 degrees behind the sun, right? So
Ah.
now she's kind of trying to catch up with the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
She passed him. She has done half the circle, and now she's running, let's say, trying
Yeah.
to catch up with him. So it's
Yeah.
from 180 to 135 degrees behind the sun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Behind the
Yeah.
sun. So
And this
we call
means
it a
also, sorry, that it's
yeah.
about 14 days after
Mm-hmm.
the new moon.
Okay, 14 days after new
About
moon. So
14
yeah.
days. It's not exactly
Mm.
28 days, but it's kind of 28.
So it is very interesting what type of personality, what kind of characteristic this type of personality has.
Well, I would say, first of all, there's this idea of light.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the light of the computer, and I was thinking how appropriate with the
Yeah,
full moon.
yes.
because of this idea, I don't know if you've been, if you've had, well, you have for sure, Rod, but for the people who are listening, if you have had the chance, go out in a night with a full moon in a place
Mm-hmm.
where there's not a lot of artificial light, and you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
see that you can see everything. It's like the
Yeah,
moon is so powerful when it's
exactly.
full. It's giving so much light.
Mm.
So I think there is this sense, the light we usually relate it with awareness, right? So there is this sense of being
Mm.
a little bit more objective about
Mm.
who you are, what you want, and what can be achieved. Again, this idea that also we're half of the cycle. So there's this
Mm-hmm.
visionary stance, perhaps, but with a
Mm-hmm.
more objective approach,
Mm-hmm.
and with a clearer sense of oneself, of what I'm capable of,
Mm-hmm.
and of the purpose of what I want to achieve. Like the new
Mm.
moon, we were saying it's the opposite. I want to do something, but I don't really know what it is yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
The full moon, the luminaries are looking at each other, like they're right
Mm.
opposite each other, so they're looking at each other. So there's this idea of recognition, of objectivity. Also,
Mm.
because they're opposing each other, there's this idea of relationship, right? Because
Mm. Yeah.
it brings the idea of opposition, which comes from number two,
Mm.
which has to do with relationships. And
Mm.
usually, when we have planets in opposition, we tend to project one planet onto people around us. So relationships are probably going to be very important for full moon people.
Mm.
And I would say the beginning of relationships, the ending of relationships might be somewhat, might involve some kind of crisis. And in general, I
Mm.
think that these are people who have the ability to find joy, perhaps, in the survival of
Mm.
crisis. I think these are people who usually they have to face critical moments and rise
Mm.
above these difficulties.
Mm.
Um, and this is because they can be in touch, they can fully see the light of the sun. The only way we can fully grasp the light of the sun is when it's
Mm-hmm.
being reflected in the body, and this is when this happens the greatest is with the full moon, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would suggest we look at the chart, example chart, so we will have an idea what aspect is the full moon type person and how we're going to apply it. So today, as Alejo suggests, we're going to use Tina Turner's chart, right?
Simply the best.
Simply the best.
Yes.
I think she recently, she recently passed away, and that was that song everywhere. So here I replicate her chart. So here we can see, as Alejo suggests, it's always the 180 degrees. So her sun is in Sagittarius, 4 degrees Sagittarius, and the right opposite would be the 4 degree of the Gemini. So her moon already like the new moon and go through the 180 degrees, now comes to the opposition. And wow, her moon is really, really just like a 3 degree right after full moon.
Yes. And I'm looking now, I hadn't noticed this. It's completely opposite this Mercury,
Yeah.
which is interesting because okay, I'm going off track. Sorry. Let's go back to the full moon. Sorry.
Yes, yeah. Oh, you're right. It's completely opposite. It's the
I
Mercury.
mean, and
Well,
Mercury is ruling Gemini. That's why it really caught my
yeah,
attention.
yeah.
But
So
we're getting off track. Don't worry. We go back to the full moon.
yeah, let's come to full moon, and then we will hear about what you talk about is Mercury first later. Okay, so this is the full moon type personality. This describe she would be like very very energetic and full of energy, and it's like the shine is that people see her. But
Yeah, and this
also,
sense
I
of
think you describe the relationship
I was gonna say also this sense of purpose. Like I feel she
purpose.
did have this sense of I have something to give to the world. I have something to show to
Mm,
the world.
mm, mm,
Yes.
mm.
And then also, yeah, the relationships. We know her relationships were not
Yeah, I think her
good.
first marriage was kind of a crisis, super crisis for her, and she has to kind of run away from her relationship. As I remember, she has to run away from the relationship, and there are few relationship for her is that kind of a feel pretty intense, isn't it?
Yes, yes. For what I know, very intense.
Yeah, yeah,
And
but
then
it
there's
is. Yeah,
yeah.
please.
No, I was gonna say there's this about talking about this idea of tension. There's this tension between the fourth house and the 10th house
Mm,
because the sun is in the fourth and the moon is in the 10th. So with the
mm,
moon in the 10th, there's a need for recognition, right?
mm,
And with the sun in the fourth, I feel more alive when I'm hiding, when I'm in my own
Ah,
cave. So there
yeah,
is, but through this tension, I think it's that she grows to become who she is, right? Because when she's on
yeah.
stage, it's very
Wow,
herself. You know, she's very authentic.
passionate. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah. It's passionate. It's like she gives everything on the stage. You can see.
yes.
Even I never been to the place to see her, but when you see those record on the YouTube, you just like, oh my god, where this energy come from?
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. Yes. Also,
Yeah,
she's
and that
the sun in
yeah,
Sagittarius,
yes, yes.
and it's the ruler of her chart, so it's very important. This sun in Sagittarius, so this sense of trust and confidence and optimism, right? But
Yeah.
she might be very aware that she also needs, with the moon in Gemini, she needs information, she needs data, she
Mm-hmm.
needs to communicate. So
Mm-hmm.
there is this again, this tension between providing some kind of message, you know, some kind of meaningful message. This is their
Yeah.
union, this full moon.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's quite pretty interesting. I heard about not only her own work, and I also heard about she's singing quite a lot of different songs with different singer from different country. Like
Mm.
uh, there's a very famous song she sung with the Eros Ramazzotti. I was like,
Yeah, the
what?
Italian one, yes.
Yeah, and I was just like, and a lot of different countries singer sing with her. I just like, wow, this lady is pretty powerful. She is a super famous one, and she is happy to working with other singer together to work things out. Another thing, as I just told you before, we're recording because when you say we're going to talk about her, one thing I learned is you go to maybe if people search on Tina Turner, you will notice that it's on YouTube. I think in pretty late in her life, she was a very, very become kind of pay a lot of attention on the Buddhism,
Mm,
and so she has a few like a record a few mantra, the singing mantra for put on YouTube, and you're just like very interesting, super
very, yes.
interesting. Yeah, and it's like put on internet about the Buddhism mantra. I just like that is really Sun in the Sagittarius, Mercury in Sagittarius, Venus in Sagittarius, but it's displayed by showing it by the moon singing out those mantras.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking this Jupiter in
Mm,
Pisces. She has Jupiter
yeah,
in Pisces,
yeah.
trining, what is it? The Sun. Yes, trining the Sun in Sagittarius, and they're all trining Pluto. So this sense of power and strength and
Mm,
potency, and perhaps with this Jupiter in Sagittarius is this kind of,
yeah.
you know, how her music, even if it's not mantras, can take you to some other realm.
Oh,
And
I
it's something that
agree.
she's
I agree.
singing something that's why she's so impactful. That's why she has such an effect. Not only because she's a full moon, but also
Hmm.
because when she's singing, she's bringing this kind of collective currents that
Uh-huh.
more resonate with what she's singing.
Yeah, yeah. And then, but also the performance is showing, it's sharing, it's bring out, it's showing what I'm doing, what I learned before, and what my
Yeah.
experience I let you see. You just wait there and see. I think that is another type of a performance thing. Is like is the result of the previous stage, result of how hard I worked before, and then now it's the things I can share with you. This is a very, very interesting full moon chart from Tina Turner. Well, yeah. So, well, I think we are looking for so many these types of things. So, what's the next lunation type?
So the next one is the disseminating type.
Discriminating moon. It is very interesting because English is not my first language. I have to learn it. So I was like, why? Because when you check the other software, they will give you like a waning crescent or something. You just like, oh, what is that? Or waning gibbous.
Ah.
But
Yeah,
well,
sometimes I heard it as Gibos.
yeah, not astrologer, some astronomer will call it waning gibbous, but in astrology we call it disseminating. And why disseminating? That I'll tell you next time. So thank you everyone to watching and listen to Miss Astrology. And once a week we meet here to discuss some astrology help beginner to learning astrology. If you have any question, please send us message, and or if you like, please like and share, and for our on our YouTube, and soon we'll bring it into Instagram. So see you next time. Bye bye.